Hi, Matt with eTrailer. If you're looking for a cargo carrier that's going to help you really utilize a lot of space on top of your roof on your 2022 Ford Bronco Sport, then the CURT Roof Basket is going to be a great option for you. Especially if you are just trying to find some lighter gear or bags to throw on top of your roof, anything like luggage. Because if you're going on a vacation with your family or some type of trip, you're probably going to run out of space in the back. And if your hitch is already being used by something or you don't own a hitch, then this is going to be your next best option. Let's start by checking out the front of it. So we're going to have this front fairing to it, and what I like about this design is this is made out of metal. So if you find yourself taking this on and off for vacations or trips and storing it, you're going to be less likely to damage anything on here. I've seen a lot of carriers that have those plastic fairings on them, and if you don't store them properly, they break real easy. And right behind that, you'll notice we're going to have some bolts that secure it down. So if you ever wanted to remove it, you can, and that's going to be good if you want to carry some longer items. Because what that's mainly doing is just reducing any wind resistance you have on your gear, and hopefully help reduce wind noise as well. And in the inside of the carrier, we're going to have multiple rungs that go across, and these are doing a few things for us. The first thing it's doing is being a great point where we can strap items down to, because if you have anything on top of your roof, you're going to want to secure it down with some straps. This is going to be able to handle it because it is made out of steel and it has a black powder coat finish to it. And what that finish does is just help it be more weather resistant to prevent it from rusting over time. Now what can happen is if you have any metal hooks scraping across this, that could take off some of that finish and make it more prone to rusting in those spots. So definitely keep an eye on it. If you notice, we have a lot of them going across. And the reason is because if you look right over here, we're going to have this clamp. What that clamp does is grab onto our crossbar and secure everything down. It's going to just use this plastic adapter, metal plate on top that connects to a U-bolt on the bottom, and either side are going to have wing nuts that really tighten everything into place. There's a few things I do like about this design. This design allows you to use different places or different rungs to accommodate different crossbar spreads, and it's a really simple design to use. You don't need any tools to tighten these down. Now what I don't like about it is up top, we're going to have these bolts that come through. So if you have any canvas bags or anything that can rip, then I would definitely watch out for this because that could grab onto it and tear open whatever you have. Now we can take a look at how it's fitting today. And today I think we get a great fit because this is taking up a majority of the width of our roof, which is really nice because if you're putting something on top of your roof like this, you really want to take up as much real estate as you can. Now, if you want to carry other gear that can't fit in this because maybe it's super long, like a kayak or ski carriers, then I would recommend a different type of carrier altogether. I'd recommend the Yakima Skinny Warrior because that's going to be really compact and very narrow. So you have plenty of space for the rest of your roof to put things on top of. Now, it's not going to stick out very far either because if you look at this, it's maybe like if you had a sunroof up here, it'd block a little bit of that, but it's nowhere near covering the top of our windshield. And if you do have a sunroof, I'll just kind of watch out for that, mainly if you have a roof rack that sits really low, but in most cases this shouldn't ever make contact with your carrier because that clamp or U-bolt at the very bottom of this isn't very large. And if you take a really look at the profile of this carrier on our vehicle today, honestly, we have a lot more room to play around with. And this carrier can already move forward and back some to accommodate different spreads or where you need it to sit. But honestly, if you wanted to go up a size, I think we'd be fine with that too. Especially if we take a look at our hatch access, you can really see how much space we still have to play around with. Now I know I talked about how much space is going to take underneath the crossbar, but let's check above it too. So I'm going to measure from the top, of our crossbar to the top of the carrier, and that's going to be at about 7 inches, which isn't too bad. What I recommend doing though is just taking the total height of your car, roof rack, and then carrier, so you know what areas you can make it under. A spot to really think about would be a garage. And what I'd also recommend too is if you have any accessories, gear, luggage in here at the time, then definitely measure that too, so you know if you can still make those low clearance areas. And this is going to have a 150-pound weight capacity, but again, I do recommend just checking what your roof is rated for and your crossbar, just so you don't overload anything and damage anything. Afterwards, I just recommend just checking the lowest rated component so you know you're good. But in my opinion, I think this is a great, really easy to install basket because, like I said, you don't need any tools. Really putting this on and off doesn't take too long either because the carrier isn't that heavy. Now, in my opinion, I'd actually recommend just bumping it up a size because I think we still have a lot of room to play around with. Now, if you really don't like the design of those clamps because those bolts come up and you do have a lot of canvas bags and you don't want it to get snagged on that, then I would recommend another similar carrier to this, and that's going to be the Rhino-Rack Roof Basket. It's going to have a similar design. The only downside though is it's going to have a plastic fairing. Like I talked about earlier, it'll be easier to break if you're storing it. And the clamps, while they are a little bit more adaptable, they can slide up and down, it's a lot more of a hassle to install them because you need a tool as well. And that's going to be something that's really going to live on your roof, in my opinion, full time or most of the time. While this is going to be something you take out for vacations. So really it's going to just depend on what your needs are. That's just a look at the CURT Roof Basket on top of our 2022 Ford Bronco Sport. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.